So, hello, hello, hello. I am Zakiya Monique, Master Relationship Strategist, Transformational Speaker, Bestselling Author of Killer Connections. I'm also the gracious facilitator and founder of the Sunday School Remix and the Woman to Woman community. And today I want to talk to you about Go Pursue. Okay, as part of a new series, Conversations and Revelations. Okay, I think you're going to like this one. I think I'm going to like this one, but I want to talk to you today about Go Pursue. Go Pursue. Okay. So sometimes I will appear on screen, but I don't want that to be something that stops me from getting the word out, okay? Because that's the most important thing, right? All right, so the main characters in this is David and the Amalekites, right? So we're going to be in First Samuel 30. One thing about me is I like to link it to the word. Okay, I like to link things to the word. All right. So, what's happening here? Well, David's wives have been captured. Okay. David's wives have been captured. So, let me read a little bit of this really quickly, and then we're going to get into the revelation and the conversation. So, 1 Samuel 30. Now, and I'm reading from the ESV. Now, when David and his men came to Ziklag on the third day, the Amalekites had made a raid against Negeb and against Ziklag. They had overcome Ziklag and burned it with fire, and taken captive the women and all who were in it, both great and small. They killed no one, but carried them off and went their way. And when David and his men came to the city, they found it burned with fire, and their wives and sons and daughters taken captive. Then David and the people who were with him raised their voices and wept until they had no more strength to weep. I probably shouldn't have been doing all that crying because they needed all that strength to go get their people back. But okay, I'm going to keep reading. David's two wives also had been taken captive, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And David was greatly distressed. I mean, I guess so. They took his wives, but okay. For the people spoke of stoning him. Now, wait a minute. Let me put a pause right there. No, I ain't. I'm going to keep reading. Because all the people were bitter in soul, each for his sons and daughters. But David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. The King James version says that he encouraged himself, okay? Verse 7. And David said to Abiathar, the priest, the son of Ahimelech, bring me the ephod. So Abiathar brought the ephod to David. Some people call it the ephod. And David inquired of the Lord, shall I pursue after this band? Shall I overtake them? He answered him, pursue, for you shall surely overtake and shall surely rescue. So David set out. It did not say David negotiated. It did not say David said, give me a second confirmation. It did not say David said, you sure, Lord? Mm-mm. It says, so David set out and the 600 men who were with him, and they came to the brook Besor, where those who were left stayed behind. But David pursued, he and 400 men. 200 stayed behind, who were too exhausted to cross the brook Besor. Probably because they was doing all that crying. Okay, this is where they probably should stop crying and went got their people. But okay, they found an Egyptian in the open country and brought him to David. Now, this is really important. So, to really pay attention to this. And they gave him bread and he ate. They gave him water to drink. And they gave him a piece of a cake of figs and two clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit revived. For he had not eaten bread or drunk water for 3 days and 3 nights. So he was starving. Stomach touching his back. And David said to him, to whom do you belong? And where are you from? He said, I am a young man of Egypt, servant to an Amalekite. Did you hear me? Did you hear who burned down the city? Y'all making the connection. The Amalekites burned down the city. He was a servant to the Amalekites. And check this out. He said, and my master left me behind because I fell sick 3 days ago. So so your servant fell sick and you left him behind. Oh, that's how you do your people? Okay. Watch what it does. Verse 14. We have made a raid against the Negibs, Negeb, honey, of the See people. Okay, this is too much. And against that which belongs to Judah, and against the Negeb of Caleb, and we burn Ziklag with fire. David, like, straight up, straight up. Because y'all burnt Ziklag and took my wife. But straight up, that's what y'all did. Because see, the servant telling him everything they did. The servant then got some food, and now he happy as he happy. And he getting ready to tell, he getting ready to tell everything. Right? That's why you got to watch how you treat your people. Watch how you treat your people. I'm all right. I'm moving on. And David said to him, will you take me down to this band? And he said, swear to me by God that you will not kill me or deliver me to the hands of my master, and I'll take you down there. Just that quick. All because you left him behind when he was sick. You didn't look out for your people. Now, verse 16. And when he had taken them down, behold, they were spread abroad all over the land, eating and drinking and dancing because of all the great spoils they had taken from the land of the Philistines and from the land of Judah. So they was out there, they was dancing, they was getting it. Because they took all this stuff. They feel like, hey, and spoils are things that you get as a result of the victory. So this is what you took from your enemy, and you get to have it, right? So when you invade, you take something that's a spoil, right? So they out there, they took wives, they took kids, they took everything from Philistines and from Judah. So they got all their stuff and they down there partying. And instead of them being on guard, like wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, maybe they might come back and get their stuff. No, they dancing. So never mind. You're not gonna go back and get your servant. No, you ain't gonna go back and get your servant. Nope. You ain't gonna watch out for the men that you took their stuff. See, arrogance will have you that way. Arrogance will have you partying when you should be on guard. Okay, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna get too hyped. Okay. All right. Verse 17. And David struck them down, struck them down from twilight until the evening of the next day, and not a man of them escaped, except 400 young men who mounted camels and fled. David recovered all. Let me say that again. David recovered all that the Amalekites had taken and rescued his two wives. Nothing was missing, whether small or great, sons or daughters, spoil or anything that had been taken. David brought back all. But it gets better. David also captured all the flocks and herds, and the people drove the livestock before him and said, this is David's spoils. Then David came to the 200 men who had been too exhausted to follow David and who had been left at the brook Besor. And they went out to meet David and to meet the people who were there with him. They just needed a little rest. That's it. And when David came near to the people, he greeted them. Then all the wicked and worthless fellows among the men who had gone with David said, because they didn't go with us, we will not give them any of the spoils that we have recovered, except that each man may lead away his wife and children and depart. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? But David said, you shall not do so, my brothers, with what the Lord has given us. He has preserved us and given into our hands the band that came against us. Who would you listen? Who would listen to you in this manner? Like, why am I listening to you? For as his share is, who goes down into battle, so shall his share be, who stays by the baggage. They shall share alike. That means they came, they getting a part. And he made a statute and a rule for Israel from that day forward to this day. All right. When David came to Ziklag, he sent part of the spoil to his friends, the elders of Judah, saying, here is a present for you from the spoils of the enemies of the Lord. All right. And it's some more. It's some more, you can read the rest of that. But let's talk about go and pursue. Let's talk about the revelation first of all. Be still versus go and pursue. When do we be still versus when do we go and pursue? This is why we have to ask God. If you notice, when they were at the height of emotions, right? So I'm going to kind of tie in the leadership and emotions. When they were at the height of emotions, immediately those men wanted to turn against David. But David didn't even pay attention to their emotions. He didn't even entertain what they were talking about. He said, "You know what? I got to talk to the Lord." Okay? If y'all want to stone me, pick the stone up if you want to, but I got to talk to the Lord. Okay? I got to talk to the Lord. I need to talk to the Lord. I need to talk to the Lord. At the height of emotions, when you're righteous, when you're a leader, when you're truly called by God, you know I can't move until I talk to the Lord. And so whether we be still or we go, we have to talk to God because God knows the future. He knows the heart of every man. He knows the future. He knows what's up ahead. Why would we try to go or pursue out of emotion? That's how you get hurt, right? So David wanted to know, Lord, is this one of them be still times from Exodus 14 and 14? Or is this a go and pursue moment? The only way we truly know is if we consult the Lord. That's first and foremost. Second of all, as a leader, whether you're a leader as a parent, okay? So this is not just leadership at your job, as a parent, whether you're a leader at your church, whether you're a leader in a community, whether you're a leader at the school, wherever you are, when you're at the height of emotions, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. You cannot allow yourself to be high at the height of emotions and then try to figure stuff out. That just don't they don't go together. Emotions were not meant to lead us. They were meant to be indicators only. They meant to tell us when something's wrong or something's right. That's it. That's the extent of emotions. Okay? We are not to let them drive us. David was like, nope, 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 nope. I don't want to hear nothing y'all talking about. I need to hear from the Lord. Go get the ephod. Please go get the ephod for me so I can connect with the Lord because he's the one who knows. Okay? So we have to be mindful of that as leaders in whatever capacity we are leading. Then notice that it said, as soon as God said, go and pursue, David was like, I'm out. Now, what if he had a little Moses in him? Because Moses had to negotiate for a whole chapter. He was like, no, 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 God got that. They're not going to listen to me because I stutter. And God had to listen. That's why your brother speaks well. Can you please just go? Can you please go? You're making me look like a liar, Moses. Can you please go? They done prayed a long time ago and asked me to come. And I'm sending you, but you taking all day. No, David was like, and I'm out. Because he had enough faith to pursue. When God says go, it didn't matter what it looked like to David. It didn't matter what he was up against. At the end of the day, go. Pursue. He was out. So we have to have the faith to pursue. Even when God tells us to do it, because sometimes God will tell us to do something, and our human side will say, you sure, God? Because it's a lot of them. You sure, God? You going to give me a sign? Can I have 66 confirmations? I know I've been there. I do it. Okay. But we have to have faith to pursue. When God says go, we got to have the faith to go. No matter what, hey, I'm going. Okay, I'm going. And if you notice, not only did David recover every single thing, it said nothing was missing. He received everything. He recovered everything plus some. God always gives assurances. How do we know that God told David to go? Because not only did he win, but he won and brought back enough to share. He recovered all just like God said he would. When God gives a word, that's exactly what's going to happen. Unless we don't have the faith to pursue. Unless we don't have the faith to stand still, depending on which one he tells us to do. And let us understand in Deuteronomy 8, it says, do not forget the Lord after we get what we're blessed with, right? And so in this instance, understand that the reason why David was able to have the jump on the guys was because they left one of their own. How we take care of our own in the height of victory says a lot about our character. They were dancing and all of that, and this man was over here stomach touching his whole back. sick, toe up. All he needed was some food, something to drink, and he perked right up. They were over there dancing, having a good time, but left one of their own to suffer. It says a whole lot about us. How we take care of our own when they can't offer us what they used to offer us or what they can offer us anywhere. Do we remember what they did for us in the past? When somebody tells you no once, do you remember the 100 yeses that they gave you? Oh no, we mad because they ain't give me 101 yeses. Not taking care of their own is one of the biggest and most costly issues for the Amalekites because they left somebody behind that knew too much. But even if he knew nothing, you take care of your people as long as you can. And they had more than enough. They had to took David's stuff. But here's the thing. This is how you know that there was a difference in David versus those who, of course, he was leading. Of course, he was the leader. But this is why he was the leader. Because what did they say? Well, those 200 that couldn't come, they shouldn't get nothing. Don't you see that the very downfall of the Amalekites was leaving their own behind and not doing their own right? And here you come suggest the same thing to David. We have to be careful who we take counsel from. There are some people that will give you some foul counsel, and if you follow it, you'll end up in the same predicament as the people you just defeated. Take care of your own, even when they're not able to give you or do for you what like they had before. Because once upon a time, they were valuable. And so if you're in the position to, you still look out for them. My grandmother taught me that. My grandmother taught me that because she believed that when loved ones pass away, you make sure their grave sites are clean. They wouldn't know the difference, but she knew. And she said, you take care of your people no matter what. All right, so that's the revelation that I got from that, right? David surely recovered all. We have to have faith to pursue. We cannot get caught up in emotions, whether we're in leadership of any, wherever the capacity of leadership we're in. We cannot get caught up in emotions. We have to go to God. Cease the noise. Go to God and ask him, do we be still or do we pursue? God will tell you sometimes, be still. I got this one. This is my battle. I'm going to fight it. Be still and know that I'm God. Be still. I'll fight for you. Be still. And then there are other times when he'll tell you, go and pursue. So this is why we have to shut down the noise, let those emotions subside, and really kick into real leadership, the leadership of God, the wisdom of God, and let him tell us how to move forward. And then whatever he tells us, if he tells us to be still, we got to have faith for that. If he tells us to go and pursue, we got to have faith for that. Because let me tell you something, being still is hard when you're used to going. You want to go touch it. You want to go do something. And God like, look here, you ain't controlling this one. Tell him, be still. Be still. I got it. I don't need your help. But you shall recover all. Either way, if he tell you to be still and you obey, you're going to recover all. If he tell you go and pursue and you obey, you're going to recover all. Either way, you're going to recover all as long as you obey. And don't forget to take care of your own. Don't forget about God when he blesses you with the very things you've prayed for, even more than what you've prayed for. All right. So that's the revelation. Now let's talk conversation real quick, real quick, real quick. Personal story. Y'all know I got a story. Y'all know I got a story, right? Personal story. This happened today. True story. Y'all know I bake. Okay. For those of you who do know, who may not know, I bake. Okay. I bake cookies. I bake cakes. And this week at the local store Meyer, they had butter on sale for $2.79. Now that very rarely ever happens. Okay. If they have it on sale, it might be for $3.49, $3.99, but very rarely do you ever catch a $2.79, $2.49. Very rarely do you ever catch that. So they never have a limit on it. And so yesterday I was like, I'm gonna order 40 of them because I bake cakes and cookies. So I'm gonna go get 40 of them. Just let me get 40. Well, they told me we ain't got but four. Four? What you mean four? So they gave me four. Well, I didn't know that Meyer changed their sale time. The sale used to go from Sunday to Saturday. Well, they changed it now. It goes from Wednesday to Tuesday. So I had no idea. Well, by the time I drove up to get my order and they told me they only had four, it was too late for me to get a rain check. And so the next morning when I, got up this morning, I searched it. I'm getting ready to put my order in, and it was back up to $6. And I was like, oh, Lord, wait, what happened? Right? And I'm looking, but I'm excited on the same hand because I see the cake flour that I use is on sale. And so I need that. But wait, now, wait, I didn't know the sale was flipping over. And so I looked up the type of butter on sale to see if it was on sale anywhere else. And it was on sale at Target, which is across the way from Meyer. But it was on sale for like $3.70 something or $3.50 or something like that. So I was like, oh well, I guess I just gotta deal with the 350. And it was like, no, 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 you don't. And they still had the advertisement online, not in the ad, but online. When I searched it on Google, it still had the advertisement under Meyer for 2.99. So I said, you know what? What do I do? Check it. What do I do? At the height of emotion, because I was getting ready to get mad. What do I do? So I sat there and the Lord said, clear as day. Because I was getting ready to put the Target order in anyway and everything. He said, nope, don't put that order in. Don't put that order in. Go to the store. And I'm like, go to the store. Go to the store and go to the customer service counter and tell them. So I go to the store, go to the customer service counter. And I said, ma'am, I just want to ask a question. I said, listen, I explained everything to her. Didn't know your cell flipped over. I purchased 39, 40. I had 40. I had 39 of one kind and one of the other. I said, I purchased 40 butters. You guys only have four. I didn't know your sale flipped over in the middle of the week now. I just want to know, can I get my butter at 2.99, at 2.79? And she said, well, I got to call the manager, but they don't honor nothing from last ad. And I said, but ma'am, I already purchased it, and the customer service counter was closed by the time I would have been able to try to get a rain check. So what was I supposed to do? So she said, well, let me call the manager. So they called the first manager. The first manager like, no, before she even heard the story. I said, wait a minute, man, wait, 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 wait. So she said, well, call the other manager because that was the big store manager. Call him. They called him, and you know what he said? Let her have it. Let her have all of them she want. Let her get all the butter she want at that price. Go and pursue. So I got every butter that I wanted for $2.79 each as opposed to $6, right? But it gets better. Remember, I told you, not only do you recover all, but you get the then some. Not only did I get the butter for the $2.79, and I ended up getting all the butter they had in the store except one because I decided to leave one in case somebody needed it. Okay. I had 25. I got 25. That's all they had in the store. I had 25 butters. I decided to leave that other one just in case somebody else wanted it. Don't judge me, okay? But I also got the cake flour. See, if I had gone yesterday and got my order yesterday, I wouldn't have gotten the cake flour at the price. But going today, when I went to the customer service counter, not only the cake flour went on sale today, so I got today's sale and yesterday's sale. You understand? When God says go and pursue, go. Go. All right. So I just thought I would share that with you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this wasn't too long for you. If you have any questions, you can definitely send them to Zakiya Monique and co@gmail.com. And I certainly, certainly hope this has blessed you. And I want you to have a great day. You already know how. On purpose. God bless you.